Hey, Ben, you haven't started 3-0 a lot. It's been 10 years since you have. How important is it to get off to a start like that?
Well, it's huge for us, especially here at home. And I said in the post game that there's no fans here, but we still want to win at home, and we want to win it for the fans, and that we know are watching around the world. So, we still have the same mentality that when we're at home, we want to win the football game. And, so for us to get off to a good start like this is really important, and it's fun.
Mike Pursuta.
Ben, you guys were able to stay with the running game despite some early hiccups. You got a lot of guys involved, and you seem to get better as the game went on running the ball. Why was that, and how'd you feel about it?
Well, I think we threw some different looks. We went with some big package stuff, some counter runs, some downhill runs, and then we were also able to supplement when they were crowding the box with kind of some quick hit throws. We call those run game alternatives, and so I'm just really proud of the way guys stepped up. That last, not the last drive, but the drive after the interception. I don't know the numbers on it, how long it took, or anything like that, but we drove down the field, and this is 3 weeks in a row that our 4-minute offense, and I know it's outside of 4 minutes, but in essence that you're driving and you need to run the ball out. So that's impressive when we get to do the best play in football, which is the victory, 3 weeks in a row. That's an awesome feeling.
Mark Caboli.
Hey, Ben, those RPOs, I'm just curious, is that a pre-snap read of yours? Why were they working, and was that two-point conversion one of those?
2-point conversion was one. And there is a pre-snap read element to it, but a lot of it has to happen after the ball snapped. Does a guy slide? And sometimes I'll predetermine that I'm going to throw it. I missed Ebron early on one. I hated because he was running wide open. They went to double Deontay, and so there is some taking a chance every once in a while. If you pull it out, I threw one to Juju in the flat, and I should have handed off. So sometimes I don't make the right read or the right decision, or it doesn't work out the way you want it to. But as long as we're making more of them than we don't, I think it's good.
Brooke Pryor.
You just mentioned Eric Ebron, getting him involved, getting him his first touchdown as a Steeler. What was working today to get the tight ends, especially Ebron, more involved?
Yeah, what a huge play. Big day for him. And even the guys, I always talk about the stats that show up are the catches, the yards, the touchdowns. I mean, his touchdown was an amazing play. We got pushed back after a grounding call. And you're kind of just, he's one-on-one. I'm going to take a shot. We did that exact same play in practice with the same look, and he made a play in practice, and he did it again. It's just developing trust with him. He had a huge third down late in the game. But as I was saying, the stats are one thing, but what those two, both him and Vance, did in the run game was spectacular. Asking them to pull, to get around, to lead things. Vance was like the fourth option on his conversion, I think on fourth down, whatever that one play was where he caught it. They're just making plays. That's a really unselfish group, and it's fun to be a part of.
Dejan.
Ben, when you talked about the rhythm that you guys have started to establish here, was this the best you've been in that regard as an offense? And within that, how big were the third and short conversions?
We did some really good things tonight. We still lacked in some areas, but I missed a couple deep balls, overthrew a couple guys here and there. But what I think I was most proud of was the way that guys stepped up. Right, Deontay goes down, and James Washington, Juju, Chase Claypool basically have to play all three positions. They're bouncing around, and we're moving them and doing things. I told each one of them after the game just how proud I was that those guys stepped up and did what they did, because it wasn't easy to be in their shoes tonight.
Aditi.
Ben, you have been and you are really critical of yourself through these first 3 weeks. So let's just talk about the footwork part. I know you worked extra on it on Wednesday. How would you assess that? And at what point are you going to cut yourself some slack and say, okay, we're good?
Well, like I said, I'll be critical. As long as we're winning, it's okay that I'm still trying to get back into the flow of it. I felt the footwork was better. There's still a couple throws that I didn't quite get my feet around. The one to Ebron was one. James Washington on a shallow, the one I can think of kind of off the top of my head. So I'll let you know one of these weeks when I feel like I played a good one.
Joe Rudder?
Yeah, Ben, that touchdown drive ended up taking 7 minutes. How important was it, not just to score, but to eat that clock down so you could keep Watson on the sideline?
Huge. And we need to give our defense a break. We talked about in the first half. We didn't do that well enough, we didn't think. And so they got the ball for us. It's kind of one of those situations that it was gut check time. I kept telling the guys in the huddle because my guys, they were gassed. My linemen were so tired, but so were they. And we didn't want to slow down. So I kept telling them, listen, this is gut check, guys. Like, dig down and see what you got. What can you find? And they did it. I mean, they just kept going. We kept running the ball, and they kept opening holes, and the backs kept plowing their way through. And so I can't talk enough about how proud I am of that group up front on that drive, especially because that was not easy.
Mike Pursuta?
Ben, what does 221 say the loudest to you about you in your career?
I'm old. I've played a lot of games, and it's such an honor to be up there with that name, with Mike Webster. Obviously what he meant for this franchise, the Hall of Famer, the person, and we all know the story, but what he did, he's Iron Mike for a reason. They're never going to call me Iron Ben. I get that, because there's only one Iron Mike, and I'm just humbled and honored to be in the same category as him. I don't want to, it's not like I passed him. I just feel like I joined him today because it's so awesome. And really, it's not me. It's all the guys that I played with, especially the linemen, because they're the ones blocking for me. And I played with so many really good linemen and tight ends and backs and guys that just really kept me upright and have allowed me to play this long. And so I'm just thankful to all of them. And this kind of record, and really is a joint thing for all of them and me.
Couple more. Jenna Harner?
Ben, earlier this week, you talked about, as an offense, wanting to be there for your defense, wanting to be able to close out a game and not have to rely on them to make a stop at the end of the game. How important was what you guys were able to do today?
It was huge. Kind of two drives, right? The one, the long one we talked about, and then our defense gets them off the field. We get the ball back, and we've got to, they have some timeouts in the 2 minute, and we get to stay on the field. That's huge. I mean, we have all the faith in the world in our defense. If we put them out there, that they'll do what they have to do, but we don't have to put them out there. We'll try not to.
Last one, Jeff Hathorn, go ahead.
And you mentioned the impact of the guys up front. What did it mean to have DeCastro back on that offensive line?
Yeah, it was special. I thought Kevin did a great job filling in, but Dave is special. Dave is one of the guys that makes this thing go. And I told him before the game just how happy I am to have him back. Not because he's a really good football player, but because he's a friend, and really it just means a lot to have him out there. And so I'm glad he came out feeling good, and we got a win for him. And I'm just looking forward to moving forward with him up there.
All right. Thanks, Ben.